Hello everybody, and welcome to Gran Turismo Sport, and back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking on the Group B daily race for the week, which is around St. Croix. I hope I'm saying that right. Now this is actually a pretty fun race for me, and what you're looking at here is a race from later on in the week, about Thursday. I was off my pace, so I was a little bit slower than normal. By quite a few seconds actually, and it was a pretty frustrating day for me. But this race actually turned out quite interesting, and you'll see why here in a minute. So we start the race off here in third place. We are rocking the Group 3 Toyota Supra concept. As you can see, I have 13 miles, all of which of those miles have been put in qualifying to this race. Coming off of turn 1 into turn 2, coming around into turn 3 right now, trying to hook up the apex as best as possible. The Nissan in front of us gets a lot of oversteer and make up some pretty decent time on him, but that Nissan down a straight is just impeccable. It's so hard to keep up with him, especially in a Toyota. Coasting through the little right, left, right here onto the bridge, which is probably the strangest feeling I've ever had racing a car, having just both feet completely off the throttle and gas for a good 5 or 6 seconds. Coming up, trying to stay in the slipstream of the Nissan in front of us, braking just before that little arrow on the ground. Hitting the wall slightly. This is where my lap kind of goes pretty downhill. Come around here, just don't know what happened. I don't know if it's dirty air, lack of grip, new tire model, or what. This is the first time I messed up that turn, though, I think. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a long week, so. But as you can see, losing a lot of time to the 3 GTRs in front of us. The leader actually crashed going into the next couple turns there, so we fast forward here into turn 1 of lap 2. Trying to make up some time here, see what we can do. Trying to catch up to the Nissan in front of us, driven by Rube. Car number 12 coming into turn 3 here. Let's see if we can catch up and make any time up here. Losing just a little bit of... and we just lose the back end. And I try and floor it because usually in Gran Turismo I can gas it. If I'm in a low enough gear, it will just go. And for some reason, having a little bit of trouble with the Toyota trying to keep it stable. So, fall all the way down to 12th place in a 3-lap race. Let's see what we can do here. Honestly, if I can get just up to probably P6, I'd be happy. So coming onto the bridge here, making a run on this little group of cars here. Citroen going defensive here. Coming up to the turn, switching to the inside, braking super early just to make sure that I make the turn. Citroen coming in, not leaving us any room at all. Coming out of the turn, losing a little bit of time, and I don't know what, but the Citroen just kamikazes into the AMG, which sets us back, sets the AMG back. But it's put the AMG right into a pretty good spot for us to be able to overtake him. Or at least attempt to. So coming into the little right-hander here, down this long straight, trying to brake as late as I possibly can, past the one, and the AMG just comes directly in front of me. Messes up my braking as the temporary leader from lap 1 goes off again in the same spot that he went off in lap 1. So we get promoted up to 8th place, looking for a pretty decent finish considering all that I had to deal with on lap 1. Coming up here to the final turn, trying just to stay on the back of this AMG as he's getting squirmy everywhere. Trying to just keep it as clean as possible, and as you can see, we've got 8th through, I believe, 5th right here, maybe even 4th. So top 5 finish looking pretty doable as long as I can get a nice clean lap in here. Coming in turn 1 now, coming around, trying just to stick on the back of the AMG. Trying to get on the power as early as possible and use as much of the track as possible. Coming around in turn 2, hugging the right side, braking just before the curb there, trying to hit the apex, missing it slightly. The AMG ahead gets a little bit of oversteer, and now there's a group of 3 cars going 3 wide into this right, left, right onto the bridge. It's not particularly what you want to do, and as you can see, they get it all sorts of wrong. Ram right into the back of that Nissan, and the AMG just goes right around. But I do get a pretty good run on this white number 2 Nissan here. But as you can see, just the pure straight line speed of that Nissan is nothing for the Toyota to deal with. So I cut to the inside, again letting off super early just to make sure I make the turn, getting the pass around the inside, and someone goes off there, so we get promoted up into 5th place with 4th directly in front of us. So a 5th place finish all but secured, and maybe even looking at a 4th place finish here. Coming up onto the back straightaway, I guess. This weird little long straight but not straight, focusing mostly on the guy behind us, as he is just a classic Gran Turismo person, and I have to deal with this. Braking super early to avoid the dive, and getting the cutback on him as he oversteers coming out of the turn. It's one of the most difficult turns on this course, I think, for me anyway. This is just a fun, challenging drive for me, as the Nissan cuts me off, similar to what the AMG did earlier. He just gets it all sorts of wrong, getting a ½ second penalty. So now just trying to stay as close as I possibly can to him to make sure that I can get that 4th place, even if it's not on track. Coming off the last turn, staying behind him, trying to tuck into his slipstream, and unfortunately it's not going to happen on the track. However, we do come home in 4th in the Supra, my first race ever in the Supra. And now, switching over to one of my first races in St. Croix this week. In the AMG, fast forwarding to lap 3, it was a pretty uneventful race. This McLaren tried to dive me up the inside for whatever reason from so far back. I don't even know how far back he was, quite like about close to a second, as he gets a 4-second penalty for pushing me off the track right at the end. And this is probably the weirdest penalty zone I've ever had. It's on such a short straightaway, but we come back through into 3rd place, as he just, I don't know what he was thinking going for that dive. But we come across in the AMG in 3rd place in our first or second race of the week. And now, come to our 3rd, and you see me in that beautiful 3rd place Porsche there. Let's see what we can do from here. Rocking that beautiful black and white and blue Excite Energy livery for all of you energy drink fans out there. Now what's funny is with this race, just before this race I was doing qualifying, and I actually did a 209.7 just as I crossed the line, and it loaded into matchmaking. So it didn't count my 209, only my 210, which was kind of heartbreaking because I believe it would have put me on pole for this. Don't quote me on that, but tucking in behind the Corvette, seeing if we can make a move into turn 1. Braking later than him, making up a little bit of ground. However, he's able to get on the power a little bit sooner than me, I think. And he just gets held up a little bit by the Porsche ahead, who gets a terrible exit. They go squabbling into turn 3, as both of them that Porsche just plows into the Corvette and takes him out. I feel for that Corvette sometimes. I've been that car. And now coming down the sweeping right-hander into the right, left, right, going under the bridge, which is, as you can tell, this is earlier in the week because my driving is not anywhere near as coordinated. However, yet still faster. So coming across the bridge, coming up to, what is it, turn 7? It's a very difficult left-hander. Because of the way the barriers are, I think, it makes it feel like you can get on the power a lot sooner than you're actually able to. And then this sweeping downhill right is just, it's incredibly fun when you get it right, but it's incredibly difficult to get it right. So coming across the back straight here, just trying to keep that Aston Martin behind me. As you can see, he's got about a half a second gap on me, behind me. He's closing in. I don't know why. I think I just got a bad exit coming out of that right-hander. Coming into the little kink here, coming up to again, in my opinion, one of the most difficult. That Austin getting really close to me, trying to go for a move down into the turn around the outside, but I just managed to get a much better line through there, hook up with the apex better. I actually think this is one of my better races, and you'll see why in a minute. Just smooth, controlling the pace from the front, maintaining the gap, and not making very many mistakes. Just jumping ahead here to the final lap. As you can see, not much has changed. However, we have just destroyed that gap up to 8.8 seconds almost at the end there, as we come across the line for our first win in a video. As you can see though, that is our 6th win, 2 positions gained, and my guy is just extraordinarily happy. But that's the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and notify, and I will see you in the next one.